Imagine a war so devastating that 4 million men entered the battlefield, and only a few thousand walked out alive. Imagine rivers flowing red with blood for 18 consecutive days. Imagine a 16-year-old boy fighting alone against the greatest warriors in history, knowing he would die but charging forward anyway. Imagine a grandfather lying on a bed of arrows, choosing when to die. Imagine a teacher so heartbroken by a lie that he dropped his weapons and accepted death. Imagine a warrior so loyal that he fought for the wrong side his entire life, knowing he would lose because honor mattered more than victory. This is not Game of Thrones. This is not fantasy. This is the Mahabharata War, the most catastrophic conflict ever recorded in human history, and it actually happened over 5,000 years ago on the plains of Kurukshetra in ancient India. For 18 days, the earth trembled. Brothers killed brothers. Students slaughtered teachers. Gods intervened. Curses manifested. Divine weapons that could destroy entire armies were unleashed. The rules of war were shattered. Dharma, righteousness itself, was put on trial. And by the end, the age of heroes was over. The world would never be the same. What you're about to witness is not just a war. It's the collapse of civilization. It's the moment when humanity learned that some victories cost everything. Each day brought new horrors, new betrayals, new deaths that would echo through eternity. Fathers watched their sons die. Heroes fell to deceit. The righteous were forced to become sinners. And the greatest archer in the world had to be taught by God himself why he needed to fight. The Mahabharata War. 18 days. 2 armies. 1 throne. 7 million soldiers. And a battlefield that would become humanity's graveyard. This is day 1 to day 18. Every major death. Every strategic turn. Every moment that made gods weep and demons smile. By the time this is over, you'll understand why this war still haunts India. Why its lessons are taught to children. Why its heroes are worshipped and its villains are cursed. Because what happened at Kurukshetra wasn't just history. It was the day Dharma died. And when Dharma dies, everything else follows. It began not with swords, but with a game of dice. The Pandavas, 5 brothers, righteous and beloved, were cheated out of their kingdom by their own cousins, the Kauravas. Dragged into exile for 13 years, humiliated beyond measure, they returned only to be denied even 5 villages. Not 5 kingdoms, 5 villages. The response from Duryodhana, the eldest Kaurava, was cold. I will not give them land enough to drive a needle into. So Krishna, the divine diplomat, tried one last time. He offered peace. He warned of annihilation. But Duryodhana, drunk on arrogance and backed by the greatest warriors the world had ever seen, laughed in the face of destiny. And so, the armies gathered. On one side, the Kauravas, 11 Akshahinis, over 2 million warriors, led by legends like Bhishma the Invincible, Drona the undefeated teacher, and Karna, the uncrowned king whose loyalty burned brighter than the sun itself. On the other side, the Pandavas, 7 Akshahinis, outnumbered but righteous, with Arjuna the archer, Bhima the destroyer, and Krishna, who would not fight but whose presence alone could shift the balance of fate. The stage was set. The conch shells were raised. And on the first dawn of war, as the sun broke over Kurukshetra, the world held its breath. The sermon and the slaughtered day, one arrived with a silence heavier than iron. Arjuna, the greatest archer alive, stood in his chariot and gazed across the battlefield. And then he saw them, his teachers, his uncles, his brothers, his friends, all standing on the opposite side, ready to kill him. His bow slipped from his hand. His knees buckled. And in that moment of despair, Krishna spoke the words that would echo through eternity, the Bhagavad Gita. You grieve for those who should not be grieved for, Krishna said. The soul is eternal. These bodies are mere garments. Rise, Arjuna. Fight. And fight he did. When the conches roared, the armies collided like 2 oceans crashing into each other. Bhishma, the grandsire who had taken a vow of celibacy to serve his family, led the Kaurava forces with the fury of a storm. Arrows fell like rain. Elephants trampled through infantry. Chariots splintered. Blood sprayed. And by sunset, the earth was already unrecognizable. Day 2. The Thunderbolt formation. Bhishma unleashed formations the world had never seen. He shifted the Kaurava army into the Chakra Vyuha, the Thunderbolt formation, impenetrable, devastating. The Pandavas struggled, but Arjuna, guided by Krishna, struck back with divine astras, celestial weapons that screamed through the sky and obliterated entire battalions. Yet Bhishma stood untouched, a fortress of flesh and fury. He alone killed 10,000 soldiers that day. 10,000. The Pandavas began to doubt. Could they even survive this? Day 3. Bhima's fury. Bhima, the strongest of the Pandavas, erupted like a volcano. He charged into the Kaurava ranks with his mace swinging, crushing skulls, shattering bones, roaring like a demon. He killed 8 of Duryodhana's brothers that day. 8 princes, dead in a single afternoon. Duryodhana watched in horror as his siblings fell. Rage consumed him. He ordered his army to focus entirely on Bhima. And they did. 100 warriors surrounded him. But Bhima didn't fall. He stood in a ring of corpses and laughed. Day 4. The demon prince Bhishma, enraged by the losses, formed the Mandala Vyuha, a circular formation designed to trap and annihilate. The Pandavas were suffocating. But then, unexpectedly, Bhima's son Ghatotkach entered the battlefield. Half demon, half human, he fought with the savagery of both. He grew to the size of a mountain, lifted war elephants, and crushed chariots beneath his feet. The Kauravas panicked. Even Bhishma hesitated. Duryodhana realized, if this creature fought at night, they would all die. Day 5. The clash of titans. Arjuna and Bhishma finally clashed. Teacher versus student. Grandfather versus grandson. Arrows met arrows in midair. The sky itself seemed to catch fire. But Bhishma would not fall. He had a boon. He could choose the moment of his death. Until he decided to die, no weapon could kill him. The Pandavas were desperate. Krishna whispered to Yudhishthira, Bhishma must fall, or you will lose this war. Day 6. The fall of the grandsire. A strategy was born. The Pandavas brought Shikhandi to the battlefield, a warrior who had been born female, then transformed into male. Bhishma had vowed never to fight a woman. When he saw Shikhandi, he lowered his bow. And in that moment, Arjuna struck. Arrow after arrow pierced Bhishma's armor. He staggered. He fell. But even as he lay dying, pierced by so many arrows that his body never touched the ground, Bhishma smiled. This war, he whispered, will consume you all. Day 7. The Chakra Vyuha. Drona, the greatest teacher of warfare, took command, and the battlefield became a nightmare. He formed the Chakra Vyuha, a spinning, layered formation so complex that only 7 warriors in the world knew how to break it. Arjuna was one of them. But Arjuna was away, lured by the Kauravas to another part of the battlefield. And so, young Abhimanyu, Arjuna's 16-year-old son, volunteered. I know how to enter, he said, but not how to exit. He entered anyway, alone. Day 8. The death of innocence. Abhimanyu fought like a god. Surrounded by the greatest warriors of the Kaurava army, he killed princes, generals, and champions. For hours, he held them off. But they broke the rules. They attacked him together. 7 against 1. They shattered his bow. They broke his chariot. They crushed his skull with a mace. When Arjuna returned and saw his son's mutilated body, something inside him shattered. He swore a vow that shook the heavens. Before sunset tomorrow, I will kill Jayadratha, the man who blocked my son's escape, or I will burn myself alive. Day 9. The eclipse of vengeance. The Kauravas hid Jayadratha behind every defense they had. Drona formed 7 layers of protection. But Arjuna, fueled by grief and rage, tore through them. Krishna drove the chariot. Arjuna fired arrows faster than thought. And as the sun began to set, Krishna used his divine power to create an eclipse. Darkness fell. The Kauravas thought the day had ended. Jayadratha emerged from hiding, thinking Arjuna had failed. And in that instant, the sun reappeared. Arjuna's arrow flew. Jayadratha's head rolled across the battlefield. Day 10. The teacher's grief Drona spiraled into desperation. The Pandavas spread a rumor. Ashwatthama is dead. Ashwatthama was Drona's son, his only reason to live. Drona didn't believe it until Yudhishthira, the eldest Pandava who had never lied, confirmed it. What Yudhishthira didn't say was that an elephant named Ashwatthama had been killed, not his son. But the damage was done. Drona dropped his weapons. And in that moment of grief, Drishtadyumna beheaded him. Day 11. Karna's glory Karna, the tragic hero, finally took command. The warrior who had been humiliated his entire life, denied his birthright, mocked for his low birth. Now, he stood at the center of the war. And he was magnificent. He formed the Chakra Vyuha and devastated the Pandava forces. Thousands fell to his arrows. Even Arjuna struggled. Day 12. The fallen sun, but Karna's chariot will sink into the earth, a curse from his past. He leaped down to free it, unarmed, helpless. Arjuna hesitated. Krishna didn't. Where was Dharma? Krishna asked. When Narupati was humiliated, when Abhimanyu was murdered, Arjuna's arrow flew. Karna fell. The sun seemed to dim. Day 13. The final weapon Duryodhana, broken and desperate, sent Gatotkacha into battle at night. The demon prince slaughtered thousands. In desperation, Karna used the Shakti, a divine weapon that never missed, and killed him. But that weapon had been saved to kill Arjuna. Now it was gone. Day 14. The unstoppable weapon madness descended. Ashwatthama, Drona's son, unleashed the Narayanastra, a weapon that could not be stopped. The Pandavas dropped their weapons and knelt. Only then did the weapon spare them. Day 15. The annihilation Bhima hunted down and killed all of Duryodhana's remaining brothers. All 99 of them, one by one. Day 16. The ghost armies The armies were ghosts now. Barely a few thousand remained. Day 17. The broken throne Bhima and Duryodhana faced each other in a mace duel. Bhima shattered Duryodhana's thigh, a strike below the waist, against the rules. But Duryodhana had broken so many rules. So had they all. Day 18. The night of horror that night, Ashwatthama crept into the Pandava camp and slaughtered everyone in their sleep. The 5 sons of Draupadi, dead. The entire lineage, gone. The aftermath, when dawn broke, the Pandavas stood victorious. But victorious over what? A kingdom of ghosts. A land of corpses. They had won the war, but lost everything else. And in the distance, Krishna smiled. Because this was always the plan. The age of warriors had to end. And it did. In fire. In blood. In 18 days that broke the world, as oh now you know. You've witnessed 18 days that changed the course of human history. You've seen how Bhishma fell on a bed of arrows. How Abhimanyu died alone, surrounded by cowards who broke every rule of war. How Karna fought for the wrong side because loyalty meant more to him than victory. How Drona was defeated not by weapons, but by a single lie. How Arjuna had to be taught by God himself why fighting was necessary. How brothers became enemies. How teachers faced students. How Dharma itself was questioned, tested, and nearly destroyed. But here's what most people don't understand about the Mahabharata War. This wasn't just about a throne. It wasn't just about revenge or justice or even righteousness. This was about the collapse of an entire age. The Dvapara Yuga, the age of heroes, gods walking among men, divine weapons, and warriors who could fight for days without rest. It all ended here, at Kurukshetra, in those 18 days. And what came after was the Kali Yuga, the age we're living in now, where Dharma is weak, heroes are gone, and humanity has to find its own way without the gods. Every death in this war had meaning. Every betrayal taught a lesson. Every moment of grief, every act of courage, every broken rule, it was all building toward one truth, that sometimes, to preserve righteousness, you have to do unrighteous things. That victory without honor is worthless. That the cost of war is always higher than anyone imagines. Think about it. Bhishma could choose when to die, yet he chose to fall.
Why?
Because he knew the old ways had to end. Karna could have joined the Pandavas and ruled as a king, but he stayed loyal to Duryodhana.
Why?
Because some bonds matter more than crowns. Arjuna didn't want to fight his own family, but Krishna convinced him.
Why?
Because sometimes the hardest choice is the right choice. This is why the Mahabharata still matters 5,000 years later. This is why it's not just a war story. It's a mirror held up to humanity. It asks questions that we still can't fully answer. When is war justified? How far should loyalty go? Is it ever okay to lie for a greater good? Can there be victory without sacrifice? If this story moved you, if it made you think, if it made you realize that our ancestors faced the same impossible choices we face today, then share this video. Let others witness what happened at Kurukshetra. Let them understand why this war is still studied, still debated, still remembered. Because in a world that's forgotten its heroes, we need to be reminded that courage, honor, and righteousness still matter, even when they cost everything. The Mahabharata War ended over 5,000 years ago, but its lessons? They're eternal. And maybe, just maybe, in understanding how dharma was tested then, we can better protect it now. This was the war that shattered